Coming to you live from the JRE Tobacco Aladino Mobile Studios, it's the Cigar Pulpit.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm the Bishop of the Burn, Nick, and, well, this is part one of 7th anniversary week. Yes, it's a very random number to be celebrating. You might be thinking, I don't remember a 5th anniversary week, or even a 6th anniversary week, but yes, it's our 7th anniversary week here on the Cigar Pulpit. And the reason that we are celebrating the 7th anniversary week and not the 5th and the 6th is because, quite frankly, Pulpit Fest normally hits right around this time, or maybe a little bit later. And quite frankly, I'm so wrapped up in that, I forget. And so I just keep forgetting the anniversary. But this year, with Pulpit Fest being moved back to the beginning of October, it actually crossed my mind. And so it's like, you know what? We're going to mark the milestone. We're going to mark the milestone. And so we're going to get a cigar going because this, believe it or not, is a cigar podcast. It's what it started off as. It's morphed, but we'll get into all that in a little bit. But today, I wanted to dig out something good. I wanted to dig out something that I enjoyed. And, I was going to go with one of the sponsors, but I have them lined up for Friday's show when they do the hit the Ask the Pulpit hotline and listen to all of your anniversary messages that you've been leaving me, which, by the way, I'm still taking those, so if you guys want to get in on Friday's show, you can give me a call on the hotline at area code 863-874-0000. That's 863-874-0000, and leave me a message before end of day Wednesday, August 12th. So you got today, the day this comes out, and you got tomorrow, the 12th. But if you haven't done it before you went to bed on Wednesday, well, you can do it. It just won't be part of Friday's show. Anyway, so I have 2 cigars picked out for that show, from the sponsors, but I want to find something nice for tonight. So tonight I am going to be smoking the Plasencia Alma del Cielo, Alma del Cielo. The Hexagona. It's a 6x60 hexagon shape. You know, it's got that kind of soft box pressy thing going on to make it that hexagon shape. It's a Nicaraguan Puro with some special tobacco that they grew at like 35,000 feet above sea level. There's a whole story. So if you're interested in it, look up the Plasencia Alma del Cielo. But it is a medium-bodied cigar that, according to Plasencia, features creamy sweetness and honey, accented by subtle hints of nougat. As the cigar evolves, earthy undertones weave through, accompanied by traces of orange zest. And then the heart of the smoke unveils warm cedar and more nougat, while the finish delivers ginger spice that lingers gently. We'll see. But anyway, it's a good time, and I figure, why not for this episode? So, it is time to cut the cigar, and the official cutting is brought to you by 2guyscigars.com. That's the number 2, guyscigars.com. 2 Guys have been around for over 40 years, and they are the trusted name in the cigar industry. Everybody knows 2 Guys, but if you don't, please give them a try. You won't be sorry. Family owned and operated, 2guyscigars.com does the very best to provide a great selection, fair prices, and excellent customer service. So head on over to 2guyscigars.com for your next cigar purchase. Tell them that the Cigar Pulpit sent you. And remember, that's the number 2, guyscigars.com. And with that, it's time to go ahead and cut the cigar. All righty. Well, first things first, I want to thank the fine folks at 2 Guys for sponsoring the cut. They've been at that. When did Dave come on with that? That would have been 2023, 4? feel like 2024. Yeah, I feel like it was 2024 that Dave and two guys joined us as the cut sponsor, and I really greatly appreciate it. That's the thing. There's not a ton of expenses in what I do, but there are some. And so I appreciate the sponsors. Obviously, we have the JRE Tobacco Aladino Studios, and we have two guys sponsoring the cut, and we have Villiger sponsoring the entertainment report. And those three, those are current sponsors. We've had some sponsors in the past that have come and gone, and we greatly appreciate their investment and effort into making the show good, and hopefully they benefited from their time with us. But it's one of those things. I greatly appreciate the support because, quite frankly, if I didn't have any sponsors, I'd still probably be able to do this. But there are some expenses that go along with it, and so it's nice to have some support. Everybody can help each other out, and hopefully you guys are helping them out, because that's the whole point. It's that circular. It's like I talk about with Pulpit Fest. It's a circular circle of life, and so in this case, they support me. I bring you content. You support them. That's what I'm asking for. Anyway, well, it is time to light the cigar, and while I do, you guys are going to hear the greatest commercial you've ever heard.
Some say cigars are all the same. It's just not true. It's you I have to blame.
Well, I don't know, 'cause what I know, there is a cigar called Aladino Corojo.
Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. They say authentic, so we're not confused, while the others say it's a word that's just abused.
I guess that's so. They can't compete. At least I'm sure Aladino can't be beat.
Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Cigars uses authentic Corojo tobacco from JRE Tobacco. This is the greatest commercial you ever heard. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. So let's settle in. We're going to have a casual conversation here. I had plans to have, all sorts of well thought out, thoughts and observations and memories and things of that of the last 7 years. And I'll be honest, it's a lot to remember, and quite frankly, it was exhausting trying to figure it out. So I'm just gonna have a conversation with you. So yeah, 7 years, 7 years I have been doing this. August 13th, 2019, the first episode came out, and quite honestly, I had no idea if anybody would give a shit and listen. And surprisingly, there were some of you who did. Some of you that have been with us since the beginning. And I guess I'll go ahead and just get it out of the way right now. Obviously, I used to have a co-host on this show. Things happened. We won't get into all that. But, he left the show. And things evolved, but you can't ignore history, and you can't pretend it didn't happen. And so it's one of those things that we got going and we were doing it, and it was good. It was real good. It was fun, and that was kind of the point. I just wanted something fun to do. I was new into smoking. When this show launched, this show was not anything, and truthfully, I can't proclaim to ever try and be an expert or authority. But what I am is I am a a obsessive nerd who, when I get fixated on something, I dive super deep into it. When I get an interest and it truly just wiggles its way into my brain, I deep dive. I deep dive hard. And that's what happened with cigars is, I've told this story many times. It was July 2018. I was out in Las Vegas, and my friend and former co-host, we were at the Caesar's Palace, and we were in the Monte Cristo cigar lounge, and he was buying some cigars, and I was enraptured with the place, and I went ahead and got a few White Series, and that's how it all started. And the whole concept of this show was designed to be, hey, come along with the dude as he learns about cigars. It was a casual thing. That's all it was supposed to be. It was a casual thing. It's supposed to be something fun. And through a couple of different turns, whys and wherefores, by October of 2019, I went to a cigar event out in Weston, Kansas, or Weston, Missouri, real close to the Kansas border. And there were a lot of cigar manufacturers at this event. And I got interviews with them. And it was one of those things where I could either put out just a monstrously long episode, or I could break this up into multiple episodes. But if I broke it up into multiple episodes, at the time we were doing one a week. And it was one of those things where if I broke it up into multiple episodes, I was going to be talking about this cigar event in October, coming up into December. It was ridiculous. It was going to take forever. So that's how, for the sake of expediency and, kind of burning through those interviews in a timely fashion, the 2 a week started. And that just never ended. It just never stopped. It was one of those things. Truthfully, what it was is I was addicted to the download numbers. I was going on to my hosting site, and I was looking at the download numbers, and I was like, oh my God, people are listening to this. People are actually consuming it. And I was addicted to the download numbers. And so that's why I kept it going 2 a week, because I liked it. I got the dopamine rush of you guys enjoying this. And it just went from there. COVID hit. COVID hitting, I think, was one of the big things that helped my show. It's kind of fucked to say that COVID helped anything. There are certainly aspects of my life that COVID did not help. But I do think that COVID helped this show. Because COVID forced a lot of people to stay in. They were looking for entertainment. And a lot of people discovered the podcast during that period of time. Additionally, a lot of manufacturers were available and willing to do phone and Zoom interviews at that time. And so if you go back during that solid year of COVID, we're talking March of 2020, although there were definitely some assessments in the very beginning of COVID that did not hold up. Well, maybe they did. Anyway, that as it may. The point is, that year, that solid year of really solid COVID, man, I racked and stacked some manufacturer interviews. We had all kinds of guests on this show, and some of whom I've only been able to get that one time during COVID. After that, they've been too busy, So it's all right, that's fine, that's cool. But whatever, I don't feel big dog by anybody. So, COVID happens, life moves on, things continue. And eventually it would have been May of 23, that's when, my co-host and I, we parted ways. And that was a very spooky time because I didn't know what was going to happen with this. The prospect of me continuing on my own, that wasn't really in doubt because I knew I could do it. I mean, why the hell not? I knew I could do it. But A, did I want to? And B, what does it become? Because, in the spirit of full fairness, my former co-host and I, we had a rapport. Now, granted, I do believe, in all fairness, from the start of the show to the point that he departed, things devolved to a very, how do I put this? A very hostile at times and definitely extraordinarily juvenile state. And I'll take some credit for that as well. I'm not putting that all on him. But what I will say is the show had to change. By removing that component of the show was going to change. And so it became a question of, is the show going to change in a way that you all found entertaining and fun still? Or is it going to become something so drastically different that you're not into it? And I sit here now, 3 years after that took place, and I will say that I would think, I can't say for 100% certain, but I would say that, yes, you guys have enjoyed it. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that maybe some of you don't wish for the bygone days of the true dick and fart jokes. I don't do many dick and fart jokes these days. But that's not to say that you're wrong in that. I mean, everybody has their preference, but at least you guys, some of you, maybe that feel that way, have stuck it out. And the others, I've heard from plenty of you that talk about the show and how it's evolved, and, you're good. And one thing that I would say is... man, I've had to do a lot of solo shows, which actually brings me off of this rambling little prelude here. This is I'm to something I did actually write down. For the 7th anniversary, I wanted to put together 7 lessons that I've learned about podcasting, and I'm just going to go through these. Some of you maybe have podcasts of your own, so maybe you might get something from this. Some of you might think about doing it, and some of you might just find this fascinating. But this is stuff that I've learned over the 7 years as it relates to podcasting. The first thing that I've learned is that if somebody tells you that they know how to properly promote your show and get tons of listeners, they're full of shit and they're trying to make money off of you. If there's one thing that I and most podcasters struggle with, it's expanding the audience. It's figuring out how to get more listeners. And yeah, I could end every episode by harping at you to go on to Apple and Spotify and leave 5-star reviews. I could, tell y'all to thumbs up every one of my YouTube videos and that sort of thing. Somebody's been thumb downing. I've got one guy who for a little while there was thumbs down in a lot of videos, and I don't know who the hell that was. And it's like, what the fuck, like some of these, this is probably a little tangent. This is totally a tangent. I do this for free. I give you guys this content for free, and I ask nothing. Time, maybe. But realistically, if you don't find this interesting, you don't have to listen. I don't have a gun to your head. And so I don't understand the folks that give the thumbs down or the folks that leave negative reviews on various platforms, because that's just hateful for hateful sake. There's no point in that, if you don't like it, switch the damn channel or move on to something else. There's no reason to shit on somebody's parade just because. And maybe the argument is, how can you get better if you don't get some constructive criticism? I have always been okay with constructive criticism. It's heartless criticism that I don't appreciate. It's a thumbs down with no comment telling me, oh, this is why I didn't enjoy this episode. Or it's a 1-star review from somebody on Apple who says, this guy's been only smoking for a year and a half. Why the hell am I listening to him? Well, here's an idea, fucker. Move forward in the show. Like, you obviously listened to the very first episode where I flat out said, this is the journey of a new cigar smoker. Just pointing that out there. And maybe consider the fact that I've been doing 2 of these a week since October of 2019. So I think by now I might know a little something. Again, not proclaiming to be an expert or an authority or anything like that, but I think I have a little modicum of knowledge and intelligence behind me. I think I know a little bit of something. But no, go ahead and leave that 1-star review. And mind you, they didn't leave it 7 years ago. They left it like a year ago when I was well into this thing. So I, how I just said that I don't ask you guys to go on these platforms and leave 5-star reviews to, pump up my ego. Do me a favor. If you guys listen to this on Apple Podcasts and you're so inclined, if you're going to leave anything other than a 5-star review, go ahead and skip this. But if you're so inclined, leave a 5-star review to kind of bump that rating up so that we can drown out that asshole. Because it's kind of one of those guys that like, they get a news article and they read the headline and they just like all of a sudden assume they know exactly what the whole article says, but they didn't read the article. And so they're ignorant. This guy obviously was super ignorant, left a bad review, but unfortunately has brought my average down. And it's kind of bothered me for the month or so that I've noticed it, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, yeah. So anybody who tells you that they know how to expand your audience, they don't know shit. You just got to grind it out. It just happens. You got to grind it out. You got to tell people. You got to be active. You got to do things, and you got to hope that the audience finds you. Because anybody who's like, oh, I'm going to be overnight, there's no such thing as an overnight success with this at all. There's no such thing as the person who's making their living doing this, unless you're already a celebrity. Amy Poehler or whatever the hell from Parks and Rec and, Rogan and all these guys, they had an audience already built in. They brought an audience to the table and then they went from there. Nobody knew who the fuck I was when I started this. And I'm not anybody. I'm a guy. I'm just like all of you. I'm a guy sitting around smoking a cigar and I talk about it. And hell, I rarely, there are some episodes I rarely talk about the cigar. Anyway, going back to my list. So the next little observation that I had, and this is something that I bring from the newspaper world and doing that reporting. Let the conversation go where it will, and don't be concerned about the time. Y'all have been with me long enough to know that some episodes go relatively short. About an hour. I always try to keep it to where you can typically smoke a cigar while listening to me. Some episodes go way longer. Trust me, guys. Some of the phone calls I've had with Trey Mac where we have not been mic'd up, you guys would have some marathon episodes, let me tell you. But that's neither here nor there. But even with him, I've had 3-hour-long episodes. And the thing is, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care that they're long. Some might tell me that, oh, you know, your podcast has to be within 30 and 60 minutes in order to maximize listener, you know, optimum listening, whatever the hell. I'm letting the conversation go where it goes. And if it's interesting to me, I can only hope it's interesting to somebody else. And if it's not, they can stop after an hour and move on to something else. Or they can listen to it in chunks. It's what it is. If it's interesting, I trust that you guys will listen to it. If it's not to you, you'll move on. And that's fine. But, you know, for me, I don't care if something runs long. I don't care. I'll take this to. I'll give you another example. So you know, I've talked in the last year about how I've started getting back into and watching professional wrestling again, and you know, there are monthly pay-per-views, and you pay for those. It's part of the name, and you know, for $40, you get this pay-per-view. Well, they run on average sometimes 5 hours, close to 5 hours. And it's an action-packed, I mean, it's balls out the whole time. Crazy, you know, for 5 hours. But it can be a long time. And some of the people on the internet will complain that the show went on too long. They'll say every match was good, but the show itself was too long. And my contention is, I just got 5 hours of entertainment for my money. You're telling me you would much rather get 3 hours of entertainment for the same amount of money? Because they're not going to lower the price. So would you rather get 3 hours of entertainment for $40 or 5 hours of entertainment for $40? I'm going to take the 5 every time. In this case, yeah, I can give you an hour's worth of entertainment. But if Trey Mac and I are having a good conversation, and maybe that runs, 3 hours, or Sean and I are having a good conversation and it runs 2 hours, what's the harm? You got all that extra entertainment, or you got all that extra conversation to listen to, and it costs you nothing. So, I don't know. I am never going to be one to tell anybody doing a podcast, stick to a certain time period. Some podcasts, that's part of the format. If you're doing like a little daily news update, I say keep it 15 minutes, 20 minutes at most, call it a day. Long enough for a commute from point A to work, home to work. If you can keep it that tight, that's ideal for that kind of a thing. But something like this is a long-form conversation show, Who cares? So I'm fine with long shows. I will never tell anybody stick to a certain time thing. And some people do it, I'm going to say this, and I mean no disrespect whatsoever. I think Dave and the crew at the Cigar Authority, they have a very structured format to their show. I think it is born from the fact that originally they were on terrestrial radio for a while, and so they had to have that structure for terrestrial radio. That's why they have the ad breaks and various things like that. But realistically, it's 2026. They're podcast exclusive. They don't have to do that. Dave doesn't have to keep it to 2 hours. The only reason, I can understand why, they're coming in on a Saturday, they, whatever. They probably have their reasons why they want to, but they don't have to. If Dave's conversation with Eric Newman the other day was so compelling that he wanted to add or he wanted to just let it go and just see how long it could go, he could do that. It's no big deal. And I'd be great with it. I'd be happy with it. I'm not telling him how to do his thing. They like the structure. That's obvious. And that's good. That's fine. I, on the other hand, play a little bit looser. Doesn't mean I don't have show notes, though. Next on my list, number 3, volume. I cannot stand a quiet podcast. So if you're out there and you're doing a podcast, or you're out there and you're thinking about doing a podcast, learn how to adjust your levels to get it to the optimum volume so that when I am in my car and I am driving down the highway at 70, 75 miles an hour and I have the window cracked to let the smoke out of my window, I don't have to turn the volume on my radio all the way up in order to hear what you were saying. Nothing will make me switch a podcast quicker than the inability to hear that podcast. And it's just one of those things. So I try very hard to make sure that my volume is adjusted. Now, I have had some issues lately with, lately, probably for a little while. I don't know. I only recently discovered that the little kind of projector sound in the back of the Villiger report thing apparently has been taken out when I'm running the file through Auphonic to clean it up before I upload it. So that kind of sucks. So Lord knows how long that's been out. And I just never noticed it. So I'll have to fix that. But it's little things. I try to make sure that the volume is good for you guys. Hopefully it is. Number 4, and I touched on this earlier. If you're doing a podcast, and this is just something that I learned, do not fear solo effort. I will remember the first time I did a solo show, it sucked, and it was a lot of work, and it was hard, and it was not easy, and it was awkward, and I hated it. But I had to do it because I have this kind of unspoken contract with you guys that I'm going to try my level best to get a podcast to you on Tuesdays and Fridays. Now, that's not to say that shit doesn't happen sometimes. And for reasons beyond my control, I can't do it. But I can safely tell you that in 7 years, I've never not put out a show strictly because I don't feel like it. There have been extenuating circumstances. There have been reasons why I have not gotten shows out. Anytime I'm going on a trip, anytime I know I have something coming up, I pre-record. I pre-record like a motherfucker trying to get things done in anticipation of Pulpit Fest. I mean, I'm always constantly pre-recording and scheduling out shows to make sure that you guys have your Tuesday, Friday fix. And sometimes that comes down to the wire. Sometimes life happens and I just get behind and I can't do it. Sometimes I get sick. Sometimes my kid gets sick. Sometimes it's hotter than balls out. I'm kind of surprised it's as nice as it is in the garage tonight because we in St. Louis are back under another heat advisory. But I think the worst of it is supposed to hit maybe in the next 2 days. So the day this comes out and then Wednesday. So we're getting kind of lucky that here it is Monday night and I'm not even sweating out here. I don't have a fan on. I've got the window exhaust fan, but it's actually not that bad. So that's good. But my point is, you don't have to fear a solo effort. You got to prepare a lot. If you're somebody that's going to be doing a podcast and you're going to have solo efforts that you're going to do, you have to be prepared. You can't come into it or nothing. There are times, there were tons of times when it was my old co-host and we didn't have shit. We just winged it, and it worked out fine. There have been times with Trey Mac where he and I are going to do a show, and he's on Zoom, and I'm getting ready to hit record. He's like, what are we going to talk about? And I'm like, I don't know. We'll figure it out. And we just wing it. You can't wing it by yourself. It doesn't work. You got to have another human being to bounce off of and to have conversation. Then you can wing it. But you can't wing it by yourself. And so, unfortunately, if you're going to do solo efforts, you have to be prepared. You got to know what you're going to talk about. You got to have a few items, scheduled out, listed out. And let me tell you, sometimes coming up with 2 solo shows in a week, this can be hard. I mean, I know Paul has his opinions about my AI generated ideas, show topic ideas. Yeah, I'll admit I've asked the AI a few times, give me some show topic ideas. And let me tell you, if you think the ones that I've done are not ideal, you should see all the ones that I rejected. Let's put it this way. AI is not the best at coming up with creative content. But that's neither here nor there. The thing is that it's not easy, but again, if you have that contract with the listener that you're going to come out on this day and this time, you got to do it. And if you're by yourself, you're by yourself. If you're with somebody, you're with somebody, but that's fine. Which leads me to my next point. It's always better with a guest. It's always better with a guest. And I've tried my best to cultivate a group of interesting and fun people to join me. I would hope that you guys are interested in the folks that come on this show. They're taking time out of their lives, their days, to do it. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Because if I had to do this 100% by myself, I wouldn't be doing it. It's the camaraderie, it's the community that is surrounded by this that I enjoy. Anyway, so there's that. But then I also want to say that, which my next point, which I guess would be point number 6, I've realized that I don't have to have cigar guests and content all the time. And this is something that has, it's something that I've noticed over the 7 years, reflecting back over the 7 years, is that, yes, this show very much started out as a cigar podcast. And at its heart, it is. That's the goal. That's the niche. But whereas this show started off as come along with a brand new smoker as he learns about the world of cigars, this show evolved into bringing you the conversation from the lounge, wherever you happen to be. And I'm bringing you the lounge experience, the sitting around with your buddies in the cigar lounge and just kind of talking experience. And sometimes you do that and you sit around and talk cigars. Sometimes you sit around and talk what movies you're watching. Sometimes a buddy just went to the Rocky Mountain Cigar Festival and he's telling you all about his trip. And sometimes a manufacturer stops in and is doing an event and sits down and talks to you all about his blends and his company and his factories and some of the things going on in the industry. But there's other times that you sit down and there's a dude that's like, have I told you that I don't think that the moon is what we think it is? And that's the beauty of this, is that I've realized I don't have to always have cigar-specific content. It can be generally anything, as long as it's interesting and as long as there's enough cigar content to maybe make sure that it still fits within the niche that it's in. That's all. You know? I'm not dismissing, I'm not changing the format, but I'm realizing that, like, guys, when we're sitting around the lounge, you're not just talking about cigars. You maybe are talking, the extent of cigar conversation in the cigar lounge, the average conversation in cigar lounges, unless a manufacturer or rep is sitting there talking about their brand, the extent is, hey, what are you smoking? Is that smoking good? Do you like it? That kind of thing. That's it. It's very basic. The rest of it is all the other bullshit in our lives. And that's the thing. So we can do that little bit of cigar talk, and then we can move into the rest of it and still have fun. And that's fine. And the last thing, and this is just another observation of mine, not so much me, saying one thing or another, but, and I guess I'm aiming this at people more. I'm aiming this at people who are not doing a podcast yet, but are thinking about it. Video is not my favorite, but there are definitely people that want it. So if you want to make sure that your audience is hitting the most broad spectrum of people, consider it. But do realize that video does limit you. I've talked about it on the show before. There are bits, there are segments, there are jokes, there are characters that we did in the early years of this show that the minute I went to video, it became infinitely harder, if not impossible, to do. On the flip side, video has opened me up to other exciting possibilities. They just take more effort, more time, and maybe a skill set that I'm not super comfortable with to do, such as the Sticks Out for Harambe video that I did when I went to Cincinnati for the Gorbusto launch at Party Source. That little thing that I did with Tremac at the Cincinnati Zoo about Harambe, that video, I couldn't have done that. I couldn't have done that bit if it was audio only, or at least it wouldn't have had the same impact. So that's the thing. There are cool things that you can do with video, but on the flip side, there are things with audio that I think are just really cool. Anyway, so those are my little 7 observations that I've learned while doing podcasting. I don't really know what else to say. Again, it's kind of a random anniversary. It's 7 years. It's not like I'm like sitting here at 10 years and really reflecting back. I think the other big thing that I do want to point out, though, and the thing that I am continually astounded by and humbled by, is the community that has developed up around this show. You listeners are an interesting group of people. I have absolutely no idea what you want. I have no idea what you will enjoy, and the things that I think you will enjoy, you're like, and the things that I just do randomly, you glom onto and you love. But you astound me on all levels. Your generosity, your kindness, your community and your friendship. It's so nice. Pulpit Fest. That started, this is the 7th anniversary show. It started 6 years ago, piggyback off of an event that the Riverman Cigar Company was having. And we just basically said, hey, listeners, come to town. We'll party. And it was, just that. And look at what this has turned into, now we're having it in Florida, and we've got people coming from all over Hell's Half Acre, and it's wonderful. It's you guys raised money for a charity last year. I'm hoping that you'll do more this year. You're helping lives that way. You're having fun. There are people that I have met through this show that I actually that I categorize and consider my friend, which is not a term I throw around lightly. I have lots of acquaintances. But over the years I've lost a lot of friends. And truthfully, I have very few. And it's funny, because as I sit here and think about it, locally, I don't know how many friends I have locally. I don't know if I have any friends locally. Closest friend I've got is about 2 hours away, hour and a half, 2 hours away. But then from there, man, it really starts to like spider. But that's the thing. And that's the cool thing, is that like the friends that I've got now, I didn't have when I started the show. You guys randomly heard me talking and making dick and fart jokes and smoking cigars, and before I knew it, somehow or another, you'd reached out and we started talking and communicating, and before long, phone numbers are exchanged and whatever else. And now it's at the point when some of you come to town, I don't think twice, you're staying at my house, and we're having a good time. Hell, coordinate weekends, coming to town just for that. I mean, that's the cool thing. It's like, there's, I don't know. It's really astounding, the community that has developed up over this. Pulpit Fest is just another extension of that. That event would not be what it is if you guys didn't give a shit and didn't want to come and hang out and get to know each other. And what I love about that event is, yeah, it's small, but the fact that it's small, it allows you guys to have that more intimate conversation and, time to get to know each other. And so, like, if you come to Pulpit Fest and you don't leave with a friend, a new friend, you did it wrong. Plain and simple. If you come to Pulpit Fest and you didn't leave with somebody new that you're friends with, or a connection that you've now made, you did it wrong. Plain and simple. Whereas I could, say that I could go to the Kansas City, and I'm not picking on any events. I'm just saying I could go to the Kansas City Cigar Festival. I could go to Rocky Mountain, and I could come away and, yeah, I got a bag full of cigars and I spent some money, but I didn't really meet anybody that I would consider a friend, and that kind of thing. But like Pulpit Fest, you're going to walk away. You're going to come away with a new friend. And I think that's cool. I love it. In fact, truthfully, the community is the thing that just drives me. Paul, from Texas, he's caught a lot of shit because of his assessment of my AI generated show topics. Look, man, it's constructive criticism. I don't have a problem with it. I'm not going to tell you that I'm not going to ask AI for some help once in a while when I'm completely and totally brain dead and can't come up with something and I got to get something out to you in 4 hours. But, I'll just be honest about that. But Paul, he heard in the last, Ask the Pulpit episode that I didn't have like a draw tool, for my cigar. We had a caller call in about plugs and cigars, and I talked about, not having a draw tool. So randomly, Saturday? I think it was Saturday. Amazon throws a package on my porch. I was out and about. I got home and I got this package on the porch and I'm like, what the hell is this? And I go inside and I open it up, and wouldn't you know it, as a 7th anniversary gift, Paul sent me a perfect draw tool. So, Paul, thank you so much. I'm so I'm humbled and very thankful for this, man. You know, while I hope I don't need to use it, I'm glad I have it now in case I do. Because there's plenty of cigars that have been plugged up that I just gave up on. And I don't know where. I don't think I have it here. But there was a little note inside there that talked about how, you know, hopefully this will help save me a good cigar one day. So shout out to Paul for being so kind and sending me a perfect draw tool. He didn't need to do that. I greatly appreciate it. But yeah, you guys have been the thing that have made this fun. And if it weren't fun, I wouldn't do it. I mean, I'll just be straight up and honest with you on that front. If this wasn't fun, I would not be doing it, because I got enough things in my life that take up time and don't pay me much money that I don't need to add this to it. But I like this. This is fun. And so I'm going to keep doing it for that reason. All right. But this is only part one of the anniversary extravaganza. The random 7-year extravaganza. Like I said, on Friday, I'll be hitting the phone lines and hearing from you with some of your favorite moments, some of your thoughts, whatever, on the anniversary. So, again, if you want to get in on that, give me a call on the hotline, area code 863-874-0000. That's 863-874-0000, or tofu pie with no E, 0000, and leave a message. And, you know, tell me your favorite thing. Tell me when you came on board. Tell me what your favorite part's been, you know, whatever. I don't care. And it doesn't have to be within the last 3 years. It can be total, you know, that's fine. I just, you know, let's take a trip down memory lane together. All right, let's move on and do this now. It's time for the Villiger Cigars Entertainment Report, brought to you by
Villiger.
Villiger Cigars, one of the leading cigar and cigarillo manufacturers in the world, founded in 1888 and still family-owned and operated. Head over to VilligerCigars.com and check the store locator to find a shop near you that carries them. We guarantee that Villiger Cigars will be a wonderful addition to your humidor and cigar rotation. All right, guys. Well, I'm sure you're all just horrifically bored with my Villiger entertainment reports lately, because there really haven't. I have. Life has been busy, but it's coming close to a slowdown time, believe it or not. Yeah, there's still my trips to Florida, you know, to see Erica and this and that and whatever. But summer has concluded. As I record this, it is late Monday evening. This was the last Monday that I will have my son for, you know, watching him during the day while his mom is at work. I've been doing that on Mondays and Thursdays. And then when it's my weekend, it becomes a 5-day weekend. But my kiddo goes back to school on Thursday, the 12th, or 13th. He goes back to school on the anniversary date of the show. And so while I have enjoyed immensely my extra time with him, I will have some more time for myself coming up. And so right now, it's all I can do to to keep up with my wrestling show and this newfound appreciation that I have for soccer or football, depending upon what you call it. Premier League play starts the weekend of the 21st, 22nd, 23rd. But the Scottish Premier League, man, I think I talked about it in the last show or maybe a week ago. I don't remember now. But holy shit, I've been loving the Scottish Premier League. It's like soccer, but with the crazy aggression that you would expect from a bunch of Scots. I just watched one the other day. It was Celtic versus Kilmarnock. And 66 seconds into the start of the game, Celtic scores. And it just rolled on from there. The same dude who scored in the very beginning, by halftime, had scored a hat trick, so 3 goals. And it's like, this is insanity. By the end of the game, it was 5-1. And you might be thinking, oh, that sounds boring. It was awesome. I mean, it was just fantastic. It was aggression. The other team's getting pissed off, so they're getting kind of feisty. And it's like, this is fantastic. It was just craziness, just fucked up craziness. It wasn't the prim and proper soccer that you think of when you think of the game. The other thing, the MLS, so United States teams have been participating in what's called the Leagues Cup. And that would be where a group of MLS teams in a tournament take on a group of Mexican league teams. I don't remember off the top of my head what their league is called. Liga something. And holy shit, these Mexican teams are vicious too. They get all kinds of crazy and punchy and aggressive. And I almost watched, I think it was Dallas, almost get into a freaking brawl with a Mexican team. It was it was fun, you know? Like, everybody thinks like, oh, these guys are so prim and proper. Let me tell you, they're vicious. And yeah, there's flopping and they fake injuries and shit, but they all hop up and they fucking run around, and it's what it is. But man, some of these are like legit aggressive, and you can tell like, oh, we're gonna get a scrum, we're gonna get a slobber knocker, and I'm here for it. I like the aggressive, crazy football. So for what it's worth, I have been enjoying that quite a bit. You know how I told you earlier how when I get into something, I just deep dive. When it hits just right, I just deep dive like a crazy man. I've been deep diving pretty hard on that. It's hit me. And I don't know. It's been very entertaining and very enlightening. So, for what it's worth, there's that. All right. But soon enough, there will be more to talk about on the entertainment. Oh, what did I watch lately? I did finish the Batman Cape Crusader on Amazon. That's the new animated one, but it's very crime noir and fairly violent. So like, I did enjoy that. So speaking of soccer, I've gone down the rabbit hole of some documentaries, and there was one that Netflix did, FIFA Uncovered, which is very, let me tell you, they need a second season of that based upon everything that's going on in FIFA right now. But that was all interesting based upon, and it gets into the scandal and payouts and bribes and this and that and whatever. But it also kind of touches a little bit on how Russia and Qatar ended up with the World Cup in 2018 and 2022 and kind of some of the hinkiness there. But there was another one that I watched, and it was on ESPN, called The Two Escobars. And it highlights Colombia, specifically Colombia and the 1994 Colombian World Cup team. And there was a guy on the team, Andres Escobar. So we talked about him and how he was this great soccer player and great, so good for the people and just everything. Came from nothing and was going to use football to help the people. While at the same time, you had Pablo Escobar in Colombia. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Pablo Escobar, he was a pretty major drug kingpin. Like lots and lots and lots and lots of drugs. He was hippos and killed tons of people. I mean, he was a very bad man. But what was interesting is this documentary pointed out that Pablo Escobar had another side to him. Because Pablo Escobar also was poor and grew up and obviously went into criminal enterprise, made a shit ton of money through drugs, and he ended up actually being very helpful for a lot of people in Colombia. There was a village that, I guess it was the government. Somebody came in and trashed, just destroyed it. So he went in and he built like 400 little houses to house everybody. And they ended up calling it like Escobar's, Escobar City or Escobar Town or whatever the hell. The bottom line is he was good. He had all these people at his funeral. He was when he died, he was mourned heavily by the poor of Colombia because he had done so much for them. And it was a very interesting dichotomy. Well, on the flip side of this, Andres Escobar and the Colombian team, they're good. They're real good. They're doing real well. And they're going to the World Cup. And they get to the World Cup, which that year was in the United States. And through the way the bracket worked, Colombia ended up playing the United States, which was a pretty big deal. And there were some people in the underworld, the criminal underworld, that made threats to the World Cup team that if they did not beat the United States, that they had bet heavily on the Colombian team, and that if the Colombian team did not beat the United States team, bad things would happen to the team and their family members. And so as they're walking out onto the pitch to start this game, all they're thinking about is the health and safety of their loved ones back home. Not a great mindset going into a pretty major game. And so over the course of this game, the Colombian team did not play their best. They hit a brick wall in the United States team. And at one point, Andres, by the way, I'm into spoiler territory here. So, even though I'm telling you what's happening, it's a very good documentary and you should go watch it. Andres, he accidentally kicks the ball into his own net, scores in his own goal, which obviously gave the United States a point, which ended up being the winning point. And so the United States wins, Colombia loses, knocks them out of the World Cup. They go home. And it's not good. And I'll leave it there. Just suffice to say, things don't go well for Andres. And it's a really, really good documentary that showcases how each guy, how like the corruption of the country and how the politics of it all impacted both their lives. I'm not saying I came away, thinking that Pablo Escobar is a good dude. Look, he was a very bad man to a lot of people, but he also, as with all things, was not black and white. He was gray. And so, while he did horrible things, he also did some really good things, and it is what it is. But that's neither here nor there, and we'll leave it at that. But anyway, so I did watch that. So, all right, now I'm done with the Villiger Report, which means now, because it's Tuesday, it's time to find out if the juice is worth the squeeze. It's another lemonade review, guys. What do I have for that? Do I have anything for that? No. Oh, well, I can play this.
I cannot speak English, but I'm excited.
Excited! It's time for lemonade. I don't know how this one's going to go. This one was one of the ones provided to me by Jeff Andreezy. And Jeff, during his drive from the hinterlands of Minnesota down to St. Louis, every time they stopped, they found lemonade. But it was not just lemonade. It was anything that was remotely lemonade. So there are some things that he gave me that I'm like, I don't know if that counts as lemonade. This is one of them, and I'm not entirely sure. But we have Brisk Juice Drink Pink Lemonade flavor. I don't know what this is, so let's check this out. Contains 1% fruit juice. Not exactly a great start there, but, that's all right. It is made by the Pepsi Lipton Tea Partnership. So that would explain the Brisk name. 1% fruit juice. Yeah, the sugar. We got 11 grams in 8 ounces, and there are 4 servings in this bottle, so definitely not finishing this bottle. Let's look at the contents, the ingredients here. We have water, high fructose corn syrup. Already off to a great start there. Water, high fructose corn syrup, citric acid, lemon juice concentrate, sodium polyphosphates to protect flavor, gum arabic, potassium benzoate to preserve freshness, potassium sorbate to preserve freshness, salt glycerol ester of ricin, natural flavor. Oh, Lord, I can't even pronounce it. Ace sulfame, potassium, sucralose, calcium, disodium EDTA to protect flavor, and your friend and mine, red number 40. So yeah, definitely more of our chemistry project drinks, but that's okay. That's okay. We got to try them all. So let's crack it open. Ooh, that's a little bit of a sounded like carbonation. Wonder if this thing's carbonated. All right. So is the juice worth the squeeze? So first things first, what are we going to look for, guys? We're going to look for lemon flavor. We're going to look for sweetness, tartness, enjoyment, and freshness. Now, freshness, I'm going to go with, it does have lemon juice concentrate, and it does have water. So at least we got that going on. And it does have 1% juice. So I'm going to give it a 2.5 on the freshness. Realistically, there's a lot of things I could not pronounce there. And the red number 40, I'm like, I think we're going to knock that down. So the freshness, unfortunately, is going to come in a little low. But we still have lemon flavor, sweetness, tartness, and enjoyment. So bottoms up with the Brisk Juice Drink Pink Lemonade. I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. It's obviously chemically tailored to hit your taste buds just fine, but I don't hate it. Lemon flavor, it is there, but weak. So I'm going to go 6. Sweetness, it is sweet. It's got that good old high fructose corn syrup. So sweetness, we're going to go 8. It is a sweet, sweet treat. There is some tartness, though. It is a balance. There's a little tartness that comes in on the back end, but not a ton. So we're going to go with a solid 4 on the tartness. It is definitely sweeter than tart. Enjoyment, here's the thing. As much as I'm shitting on this for the ingredient list and everything else, I'd 100% sit here, smoke a cigar, watch TV, and down that bottle over the course of a night. I 100% would do so. So enjoyment, as much as it pains me to admit, I'm going to give it an 8 because I actually do enjoy it. It is good. I'm going to cap it up and I'm going to put it in the fridge so that I can space it out because I do not want to drink all of that at one time because I will go into a diabetic coma. So, to the math, 6 plus 8 plus 4 plus 8 plus 2.5 equals 28.5 divided by 5, giving it a total score of 5.7. The brisk juice drink pink lemonade comes in with a 5.7 on the old lemonade review scale. So there you go. I'd say it's worth the squeeze. Is it the best lemonade I've ever had? By far, no. But is it enjoyable enough? Most definitely, yes. All right, guys. It's that time we start wrapping things up. A couple of little things. First of all, just a reminder, if you are an Apple Podcast listener, it would be a huge favor to me just to clear the deck of the asshole that you would go and do some 5-star ratings just to clear out that 1 star that's sitting there that bothers me. You don't even have to write something. You can if you feel so inclined. It does help with the algorithm to finding the show and everything like that. But realistically, if you just go on there and give it a 5-star rating, I would greatly appreciate it because right now I think the show's sitting at like a 4.6 because of that guy with the 1 star. And that bothers me because like he obviously came in like a year ago, listened to the first episode, and was like, why would I want to listen to a guy that's only been smoking for a year and a half? Which, admittedly, back in 2019, would have been a fair complaint. But now it's not. So if you would be so kind as to go ahead and give me that 1 star, 5-star, get rid of the 1 star, give me the 5-star to help get rid of the 1 star, I would greatly appreciate it. Otherwise, coming up on Thursday, August 27th, we have the next Parishioner Zoom Herf. Those have been a lot of fun. I have greatly enjoyed those. I have connected with people through that maybe I previously hadn't, and I'm loving it. Because, like, there's new friends developing that way. There's people coming to Pulpit Fest as a result of getting on those things. I love it. I love it. I love it. If you haven't been on one yet, get on it. It's fun. I do post the login information in the Facebook Parishioners group. But if you're not on Facebook, just shoot me an email, Nick, N-I-C-K, at cigarpulpit.com, and I will be happy to email you the Zoom login information. You can join in on the fun, and you know, some people come in and they just sit there and listen. Other people actively participate. Whatever, man. It's all up to you. It's a good time. It's just people to sit and smoke with. That's all it is. It's a good time. So the next one of those is Thursday, August 27th. I'm going to try to maybe see if we can get another one because the Thursday ones, admittedly, the attendance has been the weakest. I'm going to see if we can try to get one on a Friday or Saturday this month to, give a second alternative date for those people who can't make a Thursday. But anyway, that's coming up. Otherwise, I'm available on the socials. I am on Instagram at The Cigar Pulpit. I am on Facebook where we have the Pulpit Parishioners group. It's a private group. Find it. Request access. I'll let you in and you can get in on the fun, start sharing what you're smoking, participate. I think there's talk of a fantasy football league developing up in there now. I mean, there's all kinds of shit happening. So get in on the Facebook Parishioners group. It's a good time. I'm on Twitter/X. You can watch this on Rumble and YouTube. Rumble and YouTube starting back up in September. I will have the drive time reviews. Those hit every Wednesday at 7 a.m. on Rumble and YouTube, and it's just me in the car smoking a cigar and telling you what I think. So if you want more cigar content and less maybe just general content, there's always the cigar drive time reviews on Wednesdays. I do need your calls for the Ask the Pulpit shows. You can give the hotline a call at area code 863-874-0000. Put it in your phone. Save it as Cigar Pulpit. That way you can just like tell Siri or whatever to just call Cigar Pulpit and it'll just do it. And then you don't have to remember what the number is anymore. And then finally, if you are not signed up for my newsletter, The Cigar Chronicle, head on over to cigarpulpit.com. And a little pop-up box comes up on there. You can put in your email address and you will get signed up for that. And it's once a month. Sometimes I think I've missed 2 months this year, just due to life. But realistically, I don't bombard your email inbox with stuff. And it's a good time. It's just more of a good time. I just want a good time. That's all. So, sign up for that. And again, if you are interested in Pulpit Fest, if you've heard this and you're like, what is Pulpit Fest? Pulpit Fest is a listener meetup that happens one time a year. This time it's October 1st through the 4th in Palm Coast, Florida at the Ashen Ale Lounge. It's about half an hour south of St. Augustine, half an hour north of Daytona. There's all kinds of shit to do in the area. So there's some really, really great food. It's a fun time. It's a small event. It's not going to be like one of these things where you go and there's like 500 people and you're like overwhelmed. You're going to have a good time. You're going to be able to sit, relax, get to know everybody. And then, like I said, you're going to walk away with friends. You're going to walk away with friends. You're also going to walk away with a bunch of cigars. But there are still a few general admission tickets left available. When you go to cigarpulpit.com to sign up for the newsletter, the very first post is promoting the sale of tickets. You can click the little poster for the event, and it'll take you to Eventbrite, B-R-I-T-E, eventbrite.com, and you can buy your ticket on there. And tickets are like $35, but you get 30 of it back as in-store credit for Ashen Ale. So, like, it's like $5 plus taxes and fees to go to this thing. And trust me, it's well worth it. So, anyway, come on out to that. Trey Mack will be there. So we'll have Aladino. We're going to have folks from Villiger, and Rick Rodriguez from West Tampa Tobacco will be joining us for the VIP dinner on that Thursday night. And he will be with us for a good portion of Friday the 2nd as well. So it's a fun time. You're going to enjoy it. Come on out. Have fun. Have fun. If there's one thing over 7 years with this that I just, like I said, I want to do. I want to have fun. Anyway, guys, I cannot thank you enough for everything. It's been a fun 7 years. I'm looking forward to more. We'll see where this ride takes us. So until next time, this has been another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm Nick. Everybody, stay safe, stay smoky, and get your calls in for Friday's show if you want to be a part of it. By the way, the Alma del Cielo from Plasencia. Wonderful cigar. It's probably one of their lighter ones, in my opinion. It's very flavorful. So smooth. So good. They make such good cigars. I wish that their price point was a little lower so that I can enjoy them more regularly, but I guess that's what makes them special when I can enjoy them. They're treat cigars for me. So for what it's worth, if you're looking for a nice, I would say medium. I would say medium cigar with some good flavor to it. The Blue Band Plasencia Alma del Cielo is a wonderful, wonderful cigar. Take care, everyone.